What's going on there, phone and others? Uh, it is Michael, friendly neighborhood human person, and it is a Monday. And I thought to myself, I said, it's Monday, and that means you ought to share a poem. Because Mondays are for sharing poems. So I thought I would share a poem, and I've written about 100,000. And so I thought, well, I will share one which is near and dear to my heart, and it has to do with bees. It has to do with bees. And listen, disclaimer right off the bat: I love animals, right? Adore them. I adore every living creature. I think life is sacred and all that. But I have a sour like little you know little feeling toward bees. And when I say bees, I mean like wasps. Not like the cute little honeybees and like the bumblebees who just like bumble their way around the sky and whatnot, but like the horrifying demoniac wasps and hornets and those guys. So this is and listen, it's a traumatic experience that I experienced when I was little, right? I played hide and seek in a ground hornet's nest, and just never recovered. Didn't ever recover. I've been in arrested development ever since because of the bees. It's like, where would I be in this world were it not for that? Like a billionaire, like Mr. Johnny CEO up in the penthouse. That's probably where I'd be if it weren't for these horrid creatures. So this is a poem about bees, and it's actually titled "My Feelings on Bees." So here we go. When I step out the door and prepare to explore the unparalleled world known as Earth, I get body-wide tingles. My heart jumps and jingles, and I praise the Lord for my birth. My ear catches sight of a bird most polite, who is singing the sweetest of songs, and my smile, in turn, is as big as the stern of a ship bearing gladness along. Yeah. My eyes hear the sound of the greens which abound with such vividness as to express the thought that to hide from the sunlight inside, sure as Sunday, would leave me depressed. And depression, I say, is a surefire way to miss out on the splendorous world. To miss out on the sights bringing earlobes delight, and the sounds to my eyeballs unfurled. So I prance out the door, and I prance out the door to experience more of the beauty of nature and stuff. I run and I caper and see that my Maker has made all things good, sure enough. The hues of the blues put a pep to my shoes, and I spin like a top just because. Then I stop in my tracks, peering forward. What? Peering forward and back. Hearing something which sounds like a buzz. All the birds turn to vultures. The trees become sculptures of scariest, nastiest make. And before, so sincere, now the sun wears a sneer. And my skin starts to boil and bake. Which isn't ideal. The buzzing gets closer and meaner. Moreover, my legs are gelatinous goo. Of black and of yellow, the devil's own cello is buzzing its way into view. He drinks from a chalice of impurest malice. He's Cerberus given 2 wings. Instructed by hell, it's my fear which impels him to seek out this victim to sting. I just want a flower, he says, as I cower and quiver and cover my eyes. No, really, my goal is to torment your soul. I interpret behind all his lies. With capable cowardice, feeling quite powerless, screaming, I hastily flee. You know, I'm walking and moving and whatnot. While sprinting, I turn, and in horror discern that the demon is hot after me. He's hot on my trail, each malignant detail of his forms so grotesque racks my brain. That weird bulbous body which, wait, oh my god, he's got faster, he's starting to gain. Now sprinting top speed, a small duckling impedes this the path that I've chosen to tread. Sorry there, buddy, I say, launching Ducky to orbit as I sprint on ahead. It's sad, man. A gaggle of goslings, bedraggled and wobbling, wobble their way toward my route. You know, it pains me to do it, but now I say screw it, and crying I give them the boot, you know. Kick the poor little ducklings into the sky. You know, man's got to do what a man's got to do. Precisely. Again, I turn back, and now hot on my track is a vengeful and bloodthirsty goose. And probably the mom, you know, Mother Goose, who doesn't appreciate the mistreatment of her little darlings, which I wouldn't either, you know, if I were Mama Goose. But I pay her no mind, and for just inches behind is the bee, who's now tying a noose. Yeah. Can't trust him, man. As he sharpens his sickle, bemoaning my pickle, I notice that my house is in sight, before which a parade has set up a blockade, the last of my perilous flight. No, that's wrong. I misspoke that. As he sharpens his sickle, this is the bee we're referring to. As he sharpens his sickle, bemoaning this pickle, I notice my house is in sight, so I'm almost there, right? Before which a blockade has... I can't speak this morning. Before which a parade has set up to blockade the last of my perilous flight. So I'm running from the bee, and the parade is in front of me, right? And the house is just beyond. And it's just like, all right, well, that's not perfect, you know? Poor timing, right? The parade is of orphans and those with misfortunes like terminal cancer and plague. And as well wartime woundies. If I don't slow down, these could see me in breach of the Hague. Because I'm sprinting, right? And you have the orphans and the terminal cancer patients and the plague victims. And they're all right in front of me. And it's like, do I slow down and let the bee get me? Or do I just kind of like, you know, dip the shoulder, right? And as well wartime woundies. If I don't slow down, these could see me in breach of the Hague. But consider the Hague. That convention was vague, and it never accounted for this. A demoniac bee with a hunger for me. If I slowed, I'd be frankly remiss, you know? So, ignoring the quarrels I have with my morals, I lower my shoulder and run. With veterans flying and orphans now crying, my Pyrrhic escape is but one. I get to my door and collapse to the floor as I go in and shut out the noise. And a question springs up in my soul, quite abrupt. That's my stomach, but the soul, you know? And a question springs up in my soul, quite abrupt. Was this worth all the lives you destroyed? Man should ask himself something like that after such an experience. The moral, I guess, of this tale of distress is that nothing is worse than a bee. The sins of mankind are a trifle when shined in the same light as such devilry. The evil which lurks in the night in the murk takes the form of a bee leaving hell. And if they are outside, then it's better I hide. Forget liberty, I choose the shell. You know, that's like the opposite of, what is it, Virginia? One of those northeastern states whose, motto is, give me liberty or give me death. That's my clap back to that is, forget liberty, I choose the shell. You know, which is not quite as, like, dramatic, but, you know, it's not who I am, right? All right, well, thank you very much for listening to 11 minutes of my little dissertation here. And I hope everybody has a good day. Everybody, all of you beautiful people. Again, I'm Michael, a real human person. And, cool.